following is an exclusive presentation of Ravens Productions.
Coming up on this week's edition of Ravens Report, 4 weeks ago, Josh Bynes was out of football. Now he's starting at linebacker for the Ravens against Tom Brady and the Patriots. We preview Sunday's primetime matchup with Josh and head coach John Harbaugh. Plus, we hear the heartfelt story of Brandon Carr and the cause that's near and dear to his heart. All of that and more on this week's Ravens Report.
15-10-5, touchdown Ravens! They're dancing in the aisles. Oh, what a scene we have at M&T. Ravens on 3, 1, 2, 3. Ravens.
Welcome to this week's edition of Ravens Report. From the Under Armour Performance Center, I'm Erin Hawksworth. The Ravens enjoyed their bye week, and deservedly so. 8 weeks into the season, and they sit in first place in the AFC North. Now the focus will be on this week's primetime matchup against the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots right here in Baltimore. And speaking of Super Bowls, linebacker Josh Bynes wasn't sure if he would ever play football again. You probably remember when he made the last tackle in Super Bowl 47 against the 49ers, but after going unsigned throughout the summer, Josh didn't know if he'd be on a roster this season or ever. That was until the Ravens called. Now Josh will try to slow down Tom Brady and the undefeated Patriots.
We had a couple transactions. Josh Bynes has been added.
The league happens the way it happens, going to different teams, stuff like that. Definitely, it feels great to be here.
Josh Bynes with the interception at the 15-yard line. It was the mix-in right up the middle into the arms of Josh Bynes, who drops him for a loss.
Well, Josh, what a difference a month makes. Just thinking about where you started when this run with the Ravens here in 2019 began to where you guys are now. Do you allow yourself, especially during a bye week, home with the family, to think about how quickly things can change in this league?
Yes, of course. Being with the family, my kids, they was like, "You're home?" Like, yes, but I'm only home for a little bit. He's like, "Oh, you gotta go back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go back to work." He's like, "I want you to stay home." I'm like, "No, I was home enough. I want to go back to work." But it's crazy how, I went from being home, the family, the kids, and everything like that, to now just obviously back in the grind and back into it. And it's been great, and I love it.
As best you can you paint the picture for us? I guess it would have been October 2nd, you start to settle into a reality where you're coming back to the NFL, to a team where you started your career after being away from the game for probably as long as you'd been away from it since you can probably remember.
For the most part, throughout the whole process, don't get me wrong, it was hard, but at the same time, at least during the week, Monday through Friday, I'm grinding it out with my trainer, getting after it. So still mentally, I'm like not trying to get myself to a point where I'm like, oh, it's over for me, because I knew it was going to be an opportunity. I just wanted to make sure when the opportunity comes, I'm ready, and didn't want to catch me off guard. There's been a couple times in my career, even when I was here, I got cut in training camp, and it was this close to my rookie year. I'm 21 years old. I'm like, football is over, and all of a sudden, Ozzie called me, and I've been in the league. And then throughout my career, I've been like in a position to be ready when needed, and I pride myself on that, because when that time comes, especially being an undrafted guy, you got to be ready to go.
But it being the Ravens.
It is tackled. The Baltimore Ravens are Super Bowl champions.
And I don't know if it came up on your phone as a 410, or again, you're getting a call from your representation. But once that fact settled in, how did that register?
It was huge, because I saw myself, I don't know, coming back here. My agent was talking and things like that, and I was just like, it'd be great to come back to Baltimore. When I got that call, got in the plane, and finally seen the facility and everything, it just all comes back to you, and I felt like home, because I was here before. It just makes you feel like, I really didn't leave at all. And that's the great thing about, coming back to a place so special like this. It just felt like home.
Well, the fans, I think, felt that too, because in your first game back, it was as if you'd never left.
Throws it, intercepted. Josh Bynes with the interception at the 15-yard line.
But that seemed almost too easy to come back and make that kind of impact, start as you have up to this point. What's allowed you to seamlessly make this transition back into this defense?
Just going back to the fundamentals, going back to the small things that I've been doing since I've been in this league. You know, I knew even though his first game back, it was going to be some jitters, you know, stuff like that. But it was low-key towards the game. I was kind of more like, you know, just trying to see what's going on, formations, you know, just going back to the basic things that I've known that's kept me in this league this long. And we got to continue that this coming Sunday.
Well, you mentioned this Sunday. I know you live in the moment, so how does a group, and now as a leader of this defense, or one of the leaders, handle what feels like gaining expectations, at least from the outside, and then a monster of an opponent on Sunday night?
We're definitely not letting the media and everybody get to us about what we've been doing the last 3 weeks. There's so much room for us to get better. And that's the things we're trying to get better, trying to do each and every week, even this coming game, because we know what kind of opponent we're playing against. I played them in the past. I've been around what it's like when we're preparing for them, and it's definitely going to be a challenge for us this week. You got the GOAT at quarterback, and, and they got a lot of great weapons around him, and it's going to be definitely one that we definitely need this Sunday. But at the end of the day, it's not going to dictate how the rest of the season may go.
A lot of great stories through 8 weeks, and yours is definitely near the top, man. Josh, thanks for the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Since 2008, the Ravens have the best primetime home record in the NFL. Baltimore is 12-1, and the Ravens will need the flock to be loud on Sunday if the team hopes to get another primetime home victory. Still to come on Ravens Report, Brandon Carr is a staple in the Baltimore community, but it's the work he does to honor his late mother that means the most, both for Brandon and a special group of women courageously fighting breast cancer. Welcome back to Ravens Report, presented by MedStar Health. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Brandon Carr's work in the community is well documented. He was the Ravens' 2018 Walter Payton Man of the Year. Brandon's parents were a huge influence on him, and the main reason Brandon has placed such importance on serving our community. But after Brandon's mom passed away in 2014, he dedicated his life to helping women fighting the same disease as his mom. Here's the special story of Mary Rankin, Kathy Carr, and her son Brandon.
Mary Elizabeth Rankin, in loving memory. Mary Elizabeth Rankin died Tuesday at the age of 66 after a 10-year battle with metastatic breast cancer at her home in Dundalk, Maryland. Mary was a longtime resident of the Essex-Dundalk community, where she worked various jobs in the cleaning industry before retiring in 2016. Mary loved spending time with family and friends, going to flea markets, riding Harleys, and watching her Ravens. During the past year, she felt a special connection with Ravens cornerback Brandon Carr after his visit to her oncology room. A memorial service for Mary will be held at 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 8th at Christ Lutheran Church. In lieu of flowers, contributions can be made to the Carr Cares Foundation. Hey, Mary. That's pretty cool, Mary.
Mary Rankin was diagnosed 10 years ago with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. She had a lump on her breast, as well as it had spread to her spine, so it was in her bones. That's when we went into more serious treatments. She had the chemo. We were there quite a few days a week, and that's where she met Brandon. So
it took a while for me to kind of face my fears and to muster the courage and strength to be an asset to this cause and to bring awareness to breast cancer. And I didn't know what to expect before I made my visit to the hospital. I'm kind of nervous, just don't know what to expect. It's a serious situation. These women are fighting for their lives. So you want to be positive, you want to be meaningful and purposeful with your words and actions.
That's the first kiss of the day, thank you.
Once I walked in and saw those beautiful women just sitting in their chairs, just waiting for their treatments, it brought back just so many memories. And as I just sat there and continued to move around the room and talk to the women, hear their stories about their children, about their life, about their journey, but ultimately just about their faith and their courage, the strength that they have within them to look this disease, this cancer in their face, in the eyes, and say, I'm gonna fight you. I'm happy a year ago that I was able to, take the leap of faith and have courage to walk down this hill, and now we're trying to do bigger and better things this year.
He explained what he had gone through with his mom and why he had such compassion for what they were going through. And then he went around and talked with each of them individually, which was really sweet. I mean, you could tell that he really cared about what he was doing. And she was just really moved by it. She thought it was just such a great thing that he took his time to come visit them.
Breast cancer is near and dear, very important to myself. My mom was a two-time battler of breast cancer, and she fought her butt off for 5 years, and she was in remission, clean bill of health. Remember, like you said yesterday, I got the phone call from my dad saying that it had came back, and the second time around it came back aggressive, and by this time it was already in her bones, and she was stage 4. She fought very, very hard, surpassed all the doctors, months, whatever. She lived the whole entire another year, was able to see my wedding, see a child, my son born. So my mom passed in 2014 when the good Lord decided to take her. Took a piece of me as well out of my soul, because she will always be my number one girl. And I mean, I have a wife and kids and daughters and stuff, but my mom is like, because I see her in my daughter, I see her in my kids, I'm like, that's my number one girl. Because when she left this earth, things changed. And as always, just fall back on the principles and the lessons that she instilled in me at a very young age, to just to have pride in this gift that I have to play this game, but to also use this platform to help people off the field, to motivate, and just to help our community get to the next level.
Some people wanted to share a very special message with you.
Hold it up here.
So first of all, Brandon, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You coming here last year telling your story meant a lot to me.
Metastatic breast cancer is the only form of breast cancer that is terminal. So to have the same diagnosis as his mom was touching in the sense that he could relate. I also have a son who's 5, so to hear his experiences was very touching.
I was so excited and so honored that he, picked me to have that wig. Some people have a hard time talking about their mom and about the disease. We fight every day, and for him to come out and to honor us was just amazing. It really touched my heart. It just made me want to even fight harder.
I just want to thank him for all that he does and for coming out. I'm sure it takes a while to be able to talk about it, and it doesn't go unnoticed, and it helps us, carry on with the fight.
Brandon, I would just like to say thank you again for being here last year. It meant a lot, and looking forward to seeing you.
Brandon, I think you're an angel, and I'm so honored to be in your little group of knowing you.
For Brandon, I want to say, when I talked last year and I also sang a song about never give up, I want you to keep on remembering never give up too, because you know what? I love that power you Ravens got. Never give up. Keep on fighting, Brandon. We got this. Don't give up.
Your mom will be very proud of you, and I think about it often. Some days when no one's around, I just think about how you took the time out of your busy schedule to spend with me and the other patients, and I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, man. Dang, I miss my mom. those women just reminded me of the why we do it. Not me, but the team of Carr Cares. A year later, those women inspired me to do something this season. But it's cool just to see them a year later. Also inspiring me because their faith and just their courage and their support system as well of doctors and family has kept them willing and able to continue to fight the good fight on this earth, and that's all I need to see. Those stories, those reminders that no matter how big or small the gesture is, somebody's always appreciative.
You gotta keep the faith and never give up.
I hope she says job well done, and come on, Ma, let's keep it going. We got some more work to do.
Don't give up.
Truly an amazing story. In memory of Mary and in support of all women fighting breast cancer, Brandon Carr is donating over $200,000 to the National Breast Cancer Foundation this season. Coming up next on Ravens Report, Brandon Carr, Marlon Humphrey, and Earl Thomas prepare to face perhaps the greatest quarterback of all time. We preview Sunday's matchup against the Patriots next. Welcome back to Ravens Report. I'm Erin Hawksworth. This week's matchup against the Patriots features the NFL's top two scoring offenses. Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady have dominated the headlines this week, but the Ravens will try to get another win after the bye under John Harbaugh. The Ravens are 9-2, coming off a bye week since 2008. Garrett Downing sits down with head coach John Harbaugh to preview Sunday night's matchup against the Patriots.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for the time. You're coming off the bye week, which is an important time to kind of relax and recover and rejuvenate all that. But for coaches, I know you guys go through kind of an intense scouting process, self-scouting the team and what you did through the first half of the season. What stood out to you as you went through that process?
Well, a number of things. Just try to cover all your ground, what you've done up to that point, personnel, schemes that you've run, anything you might be tipping off or whatever. I mean, you try to do the best you can. You try to look at yourself like an opponent might look at you and see what they're seeing a little bit. That's part of it. But even the bigger parts, the next opponent and the next opponent's coming up, try to take stock of who you have in front of you and what your plans might be going forward.
The next opponent, of course, is the New England Patriots. I want to talk about the game, but I first want to talk about a story about you and Tom Brady. I believe you guys shared a flight together. You both spoke at an event in Michigan. Then you got to know each other a little bit on this flight. Did he share some advice for your daughter?
He did. He was great. Allison was maybe 14 at the time. She's a lacrosse player and a basketball player, and she was sitting right across from Tom Brady, and he was great, and he had his group of people with him, and they were real nice too. So we enjoyed it. But I said, Coach, Tom, you got any thoughts for Allison? She's a young athlete, on what motivates you. And he talked for 45 minutes to an hour about his whole history, his background. It was something that was really I just really appreciate the fact that he would take the time with my daughter, on a flight when he didn't have to. I'm sure he was tired, and was just as gracious as you could be.
Nice. Well, I'm sure you're going to forget that on Sunday, and he's going to be the enemy on Sunday. You guys have obviously played these guys so many times. You've had so many great games between them. I'm curious, does familiarity year over year play at all into the preparation or the process when you're going to play these guys? It's been a couple years since you've played them, but you have played them a lot.
Yeah, there is some of that because the coaches are pretty much the same in most cases, and most of the players are different. I mean, of course, Tom Brady's still out there, and Julian Edelman's still out there, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of those elements, but it does change. The league changes, schemes change. They're different. They're doing different things on defense, different things on offense than they've done in the past. Even special teams are different. So it's just this game's different than all the other games. It stands on its own. It's one 3.5-hour game, and we'll try to put our best foot forward, play our best football, and see what happens.
I know there's a lot of hype for the fans for this game. It's a primetime game in Baltimore, night game, Sunday night football, black jerseys, all that stuff. What makes that kind of atmosphere so special to be in?
Well, it's a great place at night. We have a great stadium, as you know, but at night it really does feel great. And our fans are really into it. We don't get many primetime games here, so we really enjoy those. Our fans really enjoy them. A lot of the stuff in the stadium with the lights going out and all that, we got in the preseason.
Yeah.
can't wait to see that. Hope we do that quite a bit. You know,
Yes,
give us,
I think we've got some special tricks up our sleeve with that.
whatever we do would be great, and so we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. We can't wait for the game on Sunday. Coach, thanks so much for the
All
time.
right, Garrett, appreciate it.
Sunday's game will feature two of the best units in the NFL. The Patriots defense is off to a record-setting start, allowing just 7.6 points per game. However, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' second-ranked offense could prove to be their toughest test yet. Coming up next on Ravens Report, the undefeated Patriots travel to Baltimore this week. We'll go behind the numbers to break down Sunday's game as the Ravens look to make a statement on national TV.
Y'all heard the saying, it ain't about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog.
You gotta fight everything you want in life.
But what if you got the fight in the size? Well, what happens when you're the strongest, the fastest, the smartest, the quickest, the toughest? What happens when you want it the most? And from a city that's hungry?
Kind of looking at the crowd like you got this guy, and no, you don't.
Go ahead, call us the underdog, because this dog gotta eat.
Welcome back to Ravens Report from the Under Armour Performance Center. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Under John Harbaugh, the Ravens are 4-1 at home on Sunday Night Football. A key to Sunday's game will be the Ravens' top-ranked rushing attack. The Patriots boast the league's 4th-ranked rushing defense, while the Ravens are on pace to set the NFL record for most rushing yards in a single season. M&T Bank Stadium will need to be rocking on Sunday night as the Ravens look to put the NFL on notice that this team is for real. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week on Ravens Report.